All right, Shalom. Shalom, Israel. Shalom, Israel. Shalom. All right, it's Kaloyala here, representing the Israelite Cavalry. Shalom. How about Shema Shah Barakatham? Barakatha. Uh, Hope all is well, man. Khan. Likewise, brother. Likewise. Well, been a little minute. Yeah, man. It definitely been a minute. Would love to come out here way much sooner than it's the first video of the year, really, of this year. Would love to come out here way earlier than that, but stuff won't go as we plan. But I'm out here, man. And we got a lot to talk about. But though it's been a minute, I still been watching. I still been observing. And you know what? Let me get this. Right? Because it has been a minute, But the Lord told us to watch always. And if I haven't done anything, I've been watching. And I've been watching, man. I can find this. This is Luke chapter 21 and verse 36. Watch ye therefore and pray always. Right? And I've been watching, man. Sometimes I slack on my praying, but I try to pray. Get up in the routine of praying. I haven't been praying as I used to, and I don't want to be like I used to. I'll be a shell of my former self, because I'm aiming to be better. I'm aiming to be better. I'm aiming to do new things. Set out a fresh start. I mean, 10 times is better. It says, Luke 21, verse 36, watch ye therefore and pray always that ye may be accounted worthy to escape all these things that shall come to pass, that you stand before the Son of Man. Yeah, man. He said, I'll tap in. He said, I'll tap in with you, Lord, real time. He said, good to see you out there. Khan, shalom up. As long hey, we got another day, we keep pushing. In fact, I got a scripture. It's always a good time, man. Get to some Proverbs. I think it's Ecclesiastes. Where it said, yeah. All right, this is Ecclesiastes chapter 9, and I'll start at verse 1. Ecclesiastes chapter 9, verse 1. For all this I considered in my heart, even to declare all this, that the righteous and the wise in their works are in the hand of Yahweh. No man knoweth either love or hatred by all that is before them. All things come alike to all, there is one event to the righteous and to the wicked, to the good and to the clean, and to the unclean, to him that sacrificeth, and to him that sacrificeth not. As is the good, so is the sinner, and he that sweareth as he that feareth an oath. This is an evil among all things that are done under the sun, that there is one event unto all. Yea, also the heart of the sons of men is full of evil, and madness is in their heart while they live. And after that they go to the dead. For to him that is joined to all the living there is hope. Let me read that again. It says, for to him that is joined to all the living there is hope. So, just like the brother said, good to see you out there. He said 1:44 a.m. London, UK time. Shalom. Okay. Shalom. I see you. Man, it's real late out there. Kind of forget about the time zones. When we in our own worlds, when we in our own worlds, I kind of forget about the time zones. That it's like an hour. The East Coast in America is an hour ahead. The West Coast in America is 2 hours behind. I think Hawaii is like several hours behind. You're dealing with the world on the eastern side of the hemisphere, eastern side of the world. Time is fast forwarded. So man, it's 1:44. Like you said, 1:44 a.m. in London. Man, yeah, man, you up late. But yeah, just like the brother said, he said, good to see you out there, right? And he said it been a minute. So yeah, man, it's always, he said, so Ecclesiastes chapter 9 verse 4, for to him that is joined to all the living there is hope. Right, so when brothers is out here, man, whatever we're going through, if the Lord has us out here, out on the streets teaching or putting up videos or whatever we're doing, it's hope, right? So it's hope for me, man. Take it from Kaloyala, right here, doing the camp video, April 5th, 2026, right? 7:48 Central Time over here in America, United States of America. It's hope. It says, for a living dog is better than a dead lion, right? So you can have, a ferocious lion, right? That ferocious lion, but he gone, he dead. That ferocious lion used to do great works, right? He used to do great works, man. He used to run a pride, had little lion cubs, had lioness around him. And he was on top of the world, he was on top. But guess what? He gone. But a living dog, who may not be as mighty as that lion, guess what? That dog is alive, right? It still has things that it can do. Maybe that dog hasn't, have, pups yet. He can create pups. Maybe that dog hasn't have, a pack of friends, but he can always get a pack of friends, get a new owner, or whatever, you know, because that dog is still alive. It has the life to live versus that mighty lion that's going away. It's gone. So, the point I'm making is, Ecclesiastes chapter 9, verse 4, for to him that is joined to all the living, there is hope. For a living dog is better than a dead lion. For the living know that they shall die, but the dead know not anything, neither have they any more a reward, for the memory of them is forgotten. Also their love and their hatred and their envy is now perished, neither have they any more a portion forever in anything that is done under the sun. Verse 7, go thy way, eat thy bread with joy, and drink thy wine with a merry heart, for Yahweh have now accepted thy works. Let thy garments be always white, and let thy head lack no ointment. Live joyfully with the wife whom thou lovest all the days of the life of thy vanity, which he hath given thee under the sun, all the days of thy vanity, for that is thy portion in this life, and in thy labor which thou takest under the sun. So the Lord is telling us to be cheerful, man. Right? To be cheerful, don't give up. The Lord tell you, I give you another day. Cherish it, right? Honor the Lord, you know, serve the Lord. Your parents, honor thy father and thy mother. Your spouse, treat your spouse well, honor your spouse, right? Got children, be there for your children, take care of them. You know, the Lord is ultimately telling us to be content with life, and don't give up. You know what I'm saying? So the brother was like, man, it's been a while. I'm like, calm, man. While I'm able to come out here, that's what I will do. You know, that's what I would do and continue to do, and watch and pray always, man. Uh, Try not to get so caught up with day to day. But you know, it's easier said than done. But we have we have a higher power, man. You know, and sometimes, you know, even though that I know brothers that go out here and we do videos and teach, we mighty, and you know, different brothers are in different positions of leadership. Sometimes, uh, sometimes you can, sometimes brothers can get caught up, man, like caught up within the day to day. You know, whatever you're going through, you know, the furnace or whatever it is. But this is a scripture. This is a scripture for our, you know, for our troubles, for our endurance. Philippians chapter 4, verse 13, right? And it's never cliche, you know? Precept never cliche, man. This is Philippians chapter 4, verse 13. I can do all things through Yahweh Shai, Hamashiach, which strengtheneth me. Notwithstanding, ye have well done that ye did communicate with my affliction. Now ye Philippians know also that in the beginning of the gospel, when I departed from Macedonia, no church communicated with me as concerning giving and receiving, but ye only. For even in Thessalonica ye sent once and again unto my necessity, not because I desire a gift, but I desire fruit that may abound to your account. But I have all and abound. I am full, having received of Epaphroditus, uh, Epaphroditus, if I'm saying that right, the things which were sent from you, in order of a sweet smell, a sacrifice acceptable, well pleasing to Yahweh. But my God, Yahweh, shall supply all your need according to his riches and glory by Mashiach Yahweh Shai. Right? So the Apostle Paul uh, basically said, look, I can do all things through the spirit and power, in the name of Yahweh Shai, who strengthened all of us. Right? And guess what? It says, real again, verse 19, Philippians 4:19. But my God Yahweh shall supply all your need according to his riches and glory by Mashiach Yahweh Shai. So my brothers get caught up. My brothers get caught up in the day to day. These are some precepts that could, you know, could help us. And I know even myself, man. It has been a minute, and You know, I try to I watch watch different videos. You know, and really trying to find that tune. You know, really trying to find that tune, man. Just you know, it's like the tune. I just watch different brothers' videos trying to find the tune, the right tune. And I can't say that I have found it yet, but uh, it is what it is. You know, we keep pushing because I haven't been watching videos like that, and I think part of the reason why I can't find a tune, or it maybe sound too repetitive, or the discussions or the topics that I feel like they should be talked about are not being talked about. So it's like, well, I'm not talking about it. You know, it's like, well, you got to talk about it. You know what I'm saying? It's like, I'm there with it or whatever. But at the same time, let me get this. At the same time, I'm gonna go to Peter. First Peter chapter 2, verse 1. Wherefore, laying aside all malice and guile and hypocrisies and envies and all evil speakings as newborn babes, desire the sincere milk of the word, that ye may grow thereby. If so be ye have tasted that the Lord is gracious, to whom coming as unto a living stone, disallowed indeed of men, but chosen of Yahweh and precious, he also, as lively stones, are built upon a spiritual house and holy priesthood, to offer up spiritual sacrifices acceptable to Yahweh by Yahweh Shah Mashiach. Wherefore also it is contained in the scripture, behold, I lay in Zion a chief cornerstone, elect, precious, and he that believeth on him shall not be confounded. Unto you therefore which believe, he is precious. Unto them which be disobedient, the stone which the builders disallowed, the same is made the head of the corner. And in so many words, Peter is saying the foundation that you may grow. And we can never, they tell us stay rooted, stay grounded. Don't forget where you came from. And so I'm with like, okay, man, the commandments, like who we are, uh, the joy of the scriptures, man. You can never go wrong with the basics. And I gotta always remember that. Because even though, like, I don't know, somebody probably could relate to me or what I'm saying, it's like, man, it's like I'm missing the tune, man. You know, nobody's singing that tune. But while I'm waiting on that tune, we always got the basics. While we waiting to go from glory to glory, we always got the basics to grow and to learn. Because you would think that you learned, or oh, man, I learned all of that. But if you go back, be like, dang, I never seen it that way. Because the scriptures is manifold. Yahweh Shai, he comes in the volume of the book. And no man have come to the Father, or no man have seen, you know, the Father but Yahweh Shai. Meaning, like, you haven't discovered all the glory only Yahweh Shai has. You know? See if I can get that. So it's like, man, it's always something to learn. And even you apply this to your day to day, right? That we be not castaways. It says that one man teacheth. I'm going to pull out my phone. It's getting dark out here. Let me get that in John. So you shall see me as I'm even as I am, man. Get that. Like this talk. Uh, let me see. I think it's this. This is John chapter 16, verse 22. It says, "And now, therefore, I have sorrow, but I will see you again, and your heart shall rejoice, and your joy no man taketh from you. And in that day ye shall ask me nothing. Verily, verily, I say unto you, whatsoever ye shall ask the Father in my name, he will give it you. Hitherto have ye asked nothing in my name, ask, and ye shall receive, that your joy may be full." Okay, what that like? "These things have I spoken unto you in Proverbs, but the time cometh when I shall no more speak unto you in Proverbs, but I shall shew you plainly of the Father." Right? So the Lord really is you know, everything is like a mystery. It's broken down. We got this thing called breakdowns, and I just, what I'm saying, because the Lord said, unto you is given, but unto them is not given. Right? These are the secrets, these are the mysteries of the kingdom. But the Lord is saying that, verse 25, "These things have I spoken unto you in Proverbs, but the time cometh when I shall no more speak unto you in Proverbs, but I shall shew you plainly of the Father. At that day ye shall ask in my name, and I say not unto you that I will pray the Father for you, for the Father himself loveth you, because ye have loved me, and have believed that I came out from Yahweh. I came forth from the Father, and come into the world. Again I leave the world, and go into the Father." His disciples said unto him, "Lo, now speaketh thou plainly, and speaketh no proverb. Now are we sure that thou knowest all things, and needest not any man should ask thee by this, who believe that thou camest from Yahweh." Yahweh shall answer them, "Will ye now believe? Behold, the hour cometh, yea, is now come, that ye shall be scattered, every man to his own, and shall leave me alone. And yet I am not alone, because the Father is with me. These things have I spoken unto you, that in me might have peace. In the world ye shall have tribulation, but be of good cheer. I have overcome the world." Uh, I got another one. I need to get my phone. Looking for this Bible. Keyboard is trash. Nope. I'm gonna use the light first. Yeah. That's what I can do though. This is John chapter 14, verse 6. Yahushua said unto him, I am the way, the truth, and the life. No man cometh unto the Father but by me. If ye had known me, ye should have known my Father also. And from henceforth ye know him and have seen him. Jump down. Verse 21. He that hath my commandments and keepeth them, he it is that loveth me. And he that loveth me shall be loved of my Father. And I will love him and will manifest myself to him. So basically, in so many words, Yahushua is going to, reveal himself unto you, which he have done, but it's going to be so plain. That's why the Lord talks about revelation. Like He's going to give basically the manna, all the hidden knowledge, or basically like make all these mysteries plain upon tables. If that makes sense for the listener that's listening. This is Revelation chapter 2 and verse 17. He didn't have an ear, let him hear what the Spirit saith unto the churches. To him that overcometh will I give to eat of the hidden manna, and give him a white stone, and in a stone a new name written, which no man knowing save he that receiveth it. Right? And that hidden manna is, Yahushua was like, the doctrine, the word. The word is unleavened, the word is perfect. So many words, like Yahushua was saying in John 14, 15, 16, even 17. He was like, believe on me, keep my commandments. I'm going to manifest myself to you. I ain't going to speak with no more proverbs. I'm going to speak plainly unto you. And I think that's that tune, man, that I'm like, in so many words, like, I was looking for. Not saying I'm going to speak like brothers to have and be on the level of just having it of what Yahushua is talking about. But, we get in there. As time progresses, as time goes on, for his service to desire these type of things, how we getting close? Because, we desiring the coming of Yahushua. We desiring the words. We desiring the tune. We desiring that frequency. We're desiring him to no longer speak to us in Proverbs, but to speak to us plainly. Show us the way. Walk ye therein. And ultimately, Yahweh Shai is going to do that, man. Because how the world is set up, how the world is set up now, everything is wrong. Everything is wrong, man. Everything is against the scriptures. Going to work, you know, it's taxing your income. Income not supposed to be taxed. Supposed to give a man his wages, the work that he did. A lot of us ain't salary. A lot of us don't get paid salary. A lot of us are hourly. We get paid hourly wages. You know what I'm saying? Just how everything is set up, how this government is set up. You know, uh, how the legal system is set up. How these judges, how and it was crazy. You know, everything is upside down. Like, look at scripture. The Lord said He have seen. With that. It's starting to get dark. All right, this is Ecclesiastes chapter 10 and verse 7. I have seen servants upon horses and princes walking as servants upon the earth. Right? So basically, what that means is Solomon has seen in his prophecy, in his vision, he's seen what you see today. He saw Esau in positions of power and the sons of God at the bottom. We at the bottom, man. Right? The Most High has given these devils power to rule over us. And that's just the reality, man. That's just what it is. And if you rewind 2,000 years ago, if you rewind 2,000 years ago, Yahweh Shai and the apostles, disciples, they had to go through the same thing. But what's interesting is a few centuries later, after that time, Jake started to rise up and come to power and overthrow Esau. You know what I'm saying? And Rome fell. What is it? The Western Rome. The right name for it, right? But Western Rome fell in 476 A.D. Right? 476 A.D. Western Rome fell, and these white devils really didn't come back into power until like 1450. But the Renaissance era or whatever. But you had them different. You had the Spanish Inquisition. When they slowly start to rise back into power, because Jake overthrew Rome. With the Holy Roman Empire, the Eastern Roman Empire, the Byzantine Roman Empire, and Jake started to take over kingdoms during the medieval times and the Dark Ages. So it's very interesting because when you rewind 2,000 years ago in Rome, yeah, these devils was into power. But from that time all the way up until this time, they had a gap, which is very interesting. So with these devils having a gap, it's not like these devils just been in power forever. It's not like these devils can't be overthrown. They have been overthrown in the past. So they not exempt from being overthrown again. Let me get that scripture. I'm gonna read this again, right? This is Ecclesiastes chapter 10, verse 7. I have seen servants upon horses and princes walking as servants upon the earth, right? Let me get another scripture because these devils was already overthrown. You know, they was already overthrown in the past, man. So it's not because the Lord allowed these devils to uplift and exalt themselves above measure. It seemed like the nightmare won't end, but the nightmare will end, right? If he done it before, he gonna do it again, and he says it in Obadiah. But let me get your scripture first. Chapter Ecclesiastes chapter 1 verse 9. The thing that have been, it is that which shall be, and that which is done is that which shall be done, and there is no new thing under the sun. Is there anything whereof it may be said, see, this is new? It have already of old time, which was before us. Ecclesiastes chapter 3 verse 15. That which have been is now, and that which is to be have already been, and Yahweh required that which is past. So the Lord overthrowing Esau has already happened. We got that timestamp with ancient Rome, right? With ancient Rome, when they crucified the Roman Empire that crucified Yahweh Shai, those were white people, those were Edomites. The Lord overthrew that kingdom, right? And he brought about this thing called the Dark Ages, where Jake was ruling over pretty much most of the known world. You see what I'm saying? And Jake was ruling for a very long time. So when you get into this, from that time all the way to here, these devils had a gap. They had a split. The Lord took them down. They just came back into power. It's what you call the Renaissance era, or the Renaissance era, the Renaissance age, because they just came back into power a couple of centuries ago. When they came back into power a couple of centuries ago, that's when they took us down and we got slavery. You know, it's so coincidental that history starts with, you know, the history they try to teach us. It starts with them just coming into power, because you know they just started coming into power uh like 15. Cristobal Colon landed in 1492. You know, like I said, around 1476, because 1476 to 1476 is a 1,000-year period. So after 1476, that's when they started really taking control over things, and but they didn't really. Scotland was still a stronghold for Jake. That's why you got King James or whatever. They never really took all of Europe. It was still a battle. You know, up until like the 1600s, they never really took over Scotland until like the mid 1600s, and that's why you see like, okay, 1619 Jake, you know, all that type of stuff, because it all happened at the same time. That's when they just got into power. That's when they was able to fully really do what they show you how they was moving, the whole slave trade shit, because that's when they just got into power. But what was they doing before that? They were subjects under us. They were subject under us. We had them under our foot, under our thumb. Being the state that they are, they came up, and the Lord ultimately allowed it to come up due to prophecy. You know, a lot of Jake, what is the bubonic plague, took a lot of Jake out. You know, so this is all of the Lord design anyway. This is all prophecy, but The Lord gonna take these devils out, bro. Just how he allowed them to come into power, right? He's gonna take them out of power. That's just what it is. This is the book of Obadiah, verse 1. The vision of Obadiah that saith the Lord Yahweh concerning Edom. We have heard a rumor from the Lord Yahweh, and an ambassador is sent among the heathen. Arise ye, and let us rise up against her in a battle. Behold, I have made thee small among the heathen, thou art greatly despised. The pride of thy heart hath deceived thee, thou dwellest in the clefts of the rock, whose habitation is high, that saith in his heart, who shall bring me down to the ground? Though thou exalt thyself as an eagle, and thou and though thou set thy nest among the stars, thence will I bring thee down, saith the Lord Yahweh. Right? The Lord said he's gonna bring these devils down. I'm gonna get another one. That's not what I wanted, but it's a good build on, right? It's Malachi chapter 1, verse 1. The burden of the word of the Lord to Israel by Malachi. I have loved you, saith Yahweh, yet ye say, wherein hast thou loved us? Was not Esau Jacob's brother? Saith Yahweh, yet I love Jacob, and I hated Esau, and laid his mountains and his heritage waste for the dragons of the wilderness. Right? And the Lord have did this several times throughout history. You know, he laid he laid them waste of poverty. Because they had to move around, and you know what I'm saying? Because how the hell did Amalek get all the way up there in Macedonia? You know, they always been vagabond. They always been poor. They always been wild man and on the run. And you know, they never really had something that was set in stone, man. They always been at war. You know, look at Esau. You know, David put them into subject, man. Put Esau all the way into subject. Right? That's what it's talking about. It says, whereas, oh no, it says, and I hated Esau and laid his mountains and his heritage waste for the dragons of the wilderness. Right? Meaning his governmental power, right? His lineage. Because they were our servants, man, right? And they wasn't even a high nation, right? They couldn't even take us down. The Cushites, the Babylonians, had to take us down, and they had to get permission from the Babylonians that can we help y'all. So they was never like that, man, right? Never like they just came in that type of power with Macedonia and stuff like that. You know, it was never like that. It took them years to do what we already did. We did already. We was ruling over everybody. You know, they just came into that power and was ruling over everybody. But we been had that power, and then when they got it, the Jacob rose up again, and we took them down. And we had them under our foot for over 1,000 years. We was ruling again, and then they just came back. So it's just like it's a struggle of power, right? So check this out. It says, whereas Edom saith, we are impoverished, but we will return and build the desolate places. Thus saith Yahweh of hosts, they shall build, but I will throw down, right? And they shall call them, and they have built. And guess what? The only thing, the next step is for the Lord to throw them down. And they shall call them the border of wickedness, and the people against whom Yahweh have indignation forever. Right? So the Lord hate these people, man. Right? You know, the Lord hate these people. The Lord hate these people, and the Lord not dealing with these people, man. Right? And the Lord gonna destroy these people. And that's an understatement. The Lord not dealing with these people, man. These Edomites, man. The Lord hate these people, bro. And that's just what it is. I'm gonna say something else, but the reason of all our problems, we can say a multitude of things, but one of the main things is, yes, we need Yahushua to come and save us and make us perfect, right? But another thing, we need him to come destroy Esau, because Esau is in the way. We need him to come and destroy his mountains and his heritage. Lay his mountains waste and make his heritage desolate, right? We tired of Esau, man, and we got to be praying for these devil destruction every night. You know what I'm saying? Like, but what it is that Jake, or Israel in general is distracted with the affairs of this life, and we're not really locked in on our target enemy. And we know who our target enemy is, but we caught up in this, that, and the third. And I'm not saying that you can't enjoy yourself, which I read scripture on enjoying yourself, but we can never really truly enjoy ourselves until the Lord start destroying these devils. I'm talking about at a rapid rate. Ultimately destroying his kingdom, his country, his government, his power, right? Because we will never truly rest, we will never truly have joy until these devils are put under our feet, until these devils are made subservient unto us. We can never have true rest, true rest, true happiness. So death to all Edomites, man, right? Death to all other nations. You know what I'm saying? That's just what it is, man. And I ain't saying go out there right now literally and start doing this shit, or even just not even physically, but not even verbally going out and just speaking to these people in their face and telling them different. You know what I'm saying? You still deal with these people, whatever. So they speak, say hi or whatever. But just know that these other nations hate you, and we hate their ass back. You know what I'm saying? And not saying that you got to be buddy buddy, all friend, and not saying you got to be our enemy. You know what I'm saying? Like on the hunt for them, or just saying, be at a protest at a rally, and you got to be doing all that. But fuck, you know what I'm saying? F them. They are enemies. You know what I'm saying? And we can hate them from a distance. You know what I'm saying? And we can wish death on them. You know? We can pray to our power to wish death on these devils, man. From a distance, man. From a distance. You know what I'm saying? If that makes sense. But, yeah, man, we will never truly have true rest till our enemies are taken down. And that's one of the main conclusions, man. You know what I'm saying? You know, yeah, enjoy your life, but don't get carried away. We ain't, this ain't no fairy tale type of timing. You know what I'm saying? We need the Lord to come back and save us, and save us as a whole. Save us as a whole, and give us our kingdom, and destroy these devils, destroy this kingdom. But with that, we'll give our praises to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem, Rakak Kodash, Kahalei Mla, Alahayanawa, Abanawa, Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem, Rakak Kodash. Hope this was exhorting. Hope this motivated you, edified you, comfort you, lifted you up. Hey, it's good to come out here, prophesy, teach some of the word, edify, fellowship. But with that, we'll close out. Again, giving our praise to Yahweh, Bashim, Ashah, Bashim, Kakadash, Hallelujah, 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 Hallelujah. All right. And Shalom to the hopeful elect. Peace, blessings be upon you all. Shalom.